Welcome, everybody. We're going to be covering the Chelsea-Everton game today. This is the preview. We're going to be talking everything about the game, the stats, going in depth, and talking about the betting as well, giving you a score prediction at the end and putting our money where our mouth is. Chelsea-Everton. Chelsea has had a resurgence recently, climbing all the way back up to fourth, looking very likely to finish top four. Everton have had quite a good season as well for their standards, all the way up to fifth. And both teams kind of firing. Chelsea don't have a loss. Nice one, George. Chelsea don't have a loss in their last 5 games. Everton have 2, but have 3 wins on the bounce. So this is going to be a good game. How do you see it going, George?
Yeah, sorry for that burp there. I was trying not to interrupt you. um, I think this could be one of the games of the weekend, to be honest. It's two teams that are in form at the moment. You know, Richarlison's playing really well for Everton. Chelsea off the back of against Liverpool last night. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really, really good game. I think it's going to be close, low scoring, but it's going to be full of shots and loads of fouls. And it's just going to be like a really, you know, Goliath game of the weekend. So, yeah, I'm excited for this one. Back to you, Colin.
Back to you. On the statistics section, both teams actually pretty impressive. I think something that we should kind of look for as well. Everton, their players have a lot more shots per game. So if you look at the Chelsea side, you have Timo Werner kind of at the top with 2.2, but no one else really comes close. I mean, Olivier Giroud with the 1.7 is, still up there, but if you look at Everton's, they get 2.5 for Calvert-Lewin, 2.2 for Richarlison, 1.5 for James. I think that Everton kind of look like the more creative side coming into this. I think
Absolutely.
Chelsea will kind
And
of
they do it without possession.
exactly.
Everton never have good possession, even against sides like West Brom. They have less possession.
Exactly. And I think that's the Ancelotti way. I think Everton, if I were to predict this, Everton will dominate, but Chelsea are super resolute. If you kind of look at this stat here, they've kept 4 clean sheets, 4 home clean sheets in a row, and if they do it again, it'll be the first Premier League side to do it in their first 5. So I think, like you said, George, going to be a low scoring game, but a lot of creativity. What do you think, we?
I got a random fun fact. You guys know Deco?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Portuguese legend.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's Richarlison's brother-in-law. It's in his blood to be a footballer. Anyway, back to the point. I think that I think I think Chelsea will struggle to score because Everton are a very organized side.
Yep.
Ancelotti has a good game plan pretty much into every game, which is why you see them scoring so little yet mustering so many points. He's a specialist in that.
Yep.
And Chelsea haven't been that creative. I mean, just looking at the recent results as you pulled up.
Yep.
Sure, like they're playing good football. They still got a striker problem they're trying to solve. Whether it's Giroud, Werner, who are you playing up there? Tammy Abraham, 2 strikers, 1 striker. We don't know. Nobody knows. They haven't found the best formula, and I think if they can find something that's surprising and effective, it will definitely stun Everton and could help them there. But otherwise, I think Everton has a good shot at this if they can hold Chelsea back because Everton they're good scoring, even without possession, without many chances. They're clinical. Richarlison, like we said, is in form. So if Everton can hold, I think they'll take the win. If they can't, well, I don't know. At that point, I much favor Chelsea because they are very solid defensively. They could hold this Everton team out most likely.
Yep. I think also something to, in terms of the tactical side, I think something really interesting here is both teams in their last 5 games have kept 3 clean sheets. So 2 managers who are kind of both, in my opinion anyways, think about the game defensively more than offensively. You have some managers, famously, Unai Emery came out with the quote, he'd rather win a game 5-4 than 1-0. Some managers just think of the game in an attacking way, and some managers think of it of how do we stop goals going in rather than how do we score. So I think it's going to be kind of boring in terms of the scoreline, but I don't know. I think Everton weirdly, I think Everton, in my head, are going to win this, but the stats kind of back Chelsea, if that makes sense.
I'm leaning towards Chelsea strictly because since Tuchel has come in, they've played a really consistent game of football.
Mm-hmm.
And Everton, yes, they're on a good win streak, but they're playing against teams who are very much out of consistency at the moment. They're not in form.
True.
So coming up against a team like Chelsea, it's going to be a tough game for them because I think Chelsea very good defensively at the moment. They just need to find that final shot on target in the final third to get their goal.
Yep.
I know Werner is always struggling for his goals. Mason Mount might pop up. You know, Giroud, whoever they play. Like, it's just going to be a matter of who can find the net.
I agree. I think something to kind of look at this game as well is the lineup Tuchel picks, because he does swap a little bit. I mean, if on screen here you can see the lineup versus Liverpool. It had Werner, Mount, and Ziyech as kind of the front three, and he had Chilwell playing. But if you kind of draw your mind back to when he first came in, Marcus Alonso was playing here. He sometimes put Giroud up front in the two striker formation to kind of play Timo Werner and him alongside each other. So it'll be interesting to see how he kind of lines up. I think this game here was really impressive, the 1-0 versus Liverpool, because they really dominated the game. You can see it in the stats. They had less possession, but they had far more shots on target, a lot more shots, and they really did keep Liverpool out. There weren't huge chances for Liverpool either. So one thing that I think will be interesting is the Calvert-Lewin versus I think Azpilicueta. I think these two center backs here are quite good in the air, but if I'm Ancelotti, I'm telling Calvert-Lewin to stick on Azpilicueta, to just stay on his ass because he's small, and Calvert-Lewin is so good in the air. So I think that's going to be a really interesting battle, kind of individually in this game.
I agree.
In terms, sorry, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to move on to scoreline predictions.
Okay, what are you going with then?
I'm thinking low key. Although I give this Chelsea side much credit, I don't think they'll find the net, meaning 1-0 Everton.
Ooh. So all this chat about Chelsea being class, and then we go with the Everton result.
I think Everton are class too. I won't lie.
You know what?
I mean, they can play stinkers, but I think if they're organized enough, this Chelsea side isn't that hard to stop. I think if Chelsea come out with something surprising, because those front three are switching all the time, they don't have a solid front three to rely on yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the surprise factor can work for them, but I don't think so. I think Everton will be ready. Ancelotti obviously is a manager with a lot of experience. Top clubs. This game's very important. Fourth against fifth.
Yep.
Everton are putting everything on the line. I think they can muster a win, maybe a draw too.
Something else to point out: in their last 4 games, Chelsea haven't scored more than 1 goal. I mean, I know Atletico Madrid defensive side. I know Man United, the 0-0 merchants. But you should be scoring more against this Southampton side. This Barnsley side only winning 1-0, not entirely convincing. Okay, 2-0 against Newcastle. Newcastle are, we all know, not a great team. So they're not blowing teams out of the water. They're not kind of doing what a Tottenham does and kind of coming up with these 4-0 wins. So I agree. I think, in my opinion anyways, I think Everton kind of will take this. What's your scoreline prediction, George?
I have 3 different scorelines, and I can't choose which one. So
say them, and we'll try to help.
We'll go 1's 0-0.
Okay.
I think that's highly possible.
Agreed.
Another one is 1-0 Chelsea. Yeah, don't know why. And then
it's just speaking to you, dude.
And then, for some reason, I'm getting the 2-2 vibe.
2-2. Okay.
I think what I think both teams are gonna come heavy hitting at the other. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with 2-2. Fuck it, 2-2.
2-2. Okay. I'm gonna go very outlandish because I think so far in the previews we've gone kind of safe. We've kind of gone low scoring games. While I've been talking about all this low scoring games, I think this Everton side is actually underrated, and I'm gonna go 3-1 Everton. I know we've been talking about how how good Chelsea are defensively, but I actually love this Everton side. Whether it's Allen being a really underrated signing in there, Richarlison stepping up, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's obviously been really great, and I think Digne is going to be really helpful here as well, whipping those balls in. A lot of crosses going in, while Rudiger is good in the air. A lot of that Chelsea backline is susceptible to stupid mistakes. You know, Azpilicueta is obviously, your solid. He won't really make mistakes, but he's short, and I think that'll hurt them this game. And I think actually the just physical dominance of Everton will show here with the likes of Decore in there as well. So
I think Conte will have to be on his best game if he
agreed.
wants to control and slow down these Everton side.
Yeah, I agree. I think in terms, if we look at the odds, this is ridiculous. I think 11-2 Everton. I don't think that they're nearly that underdog in this game. So I'm definitely going to be going with the Everton result. In terms of the correct score, I went with 3-1 Everton. That would be 55-1. Pretty spicy odds there.
Are you going with that?
Wow.
I'm gonna look at the power prices first, and then we'll decide. George, you went 2-2, didn't you?
I did.
So yours would be
I said
14-1, and you said 1-0. So that's 5-1.
No, it's 13.
Yeah, 13-1.
Yeah.
Sorry. The power prices aren't out yet due to the fact that this game is technically in 3 days. But keep your eyes on those power prices. Keep your eyes on this game especially, because I think, like we said, this could be a very underrated game of the weekend so far. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm going to be going with the 55-1 just because that 55-1 just looks so sweet. And in my head, for some reason, it's telling me 3-1. But
would you not go 4-4 for the 200?
Come on.
4-4, Jesus.
I know he said it's going to be low scoring.
Yeah, we said it's going to be low scoring, and I'm betting high scoring. I've just talked myself into this. At the start, I probably would have gone...
That's the same with me. I was saying it's going to be low scoring, and for some reason, 2-2 is just speaking.
to you.
Yeah. The force.
Well, those are going to be the bets. We gave you our scorelines, so that was our Chelsea-Everton preview. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys.